They threw me out, and now they want to live in my house. That's the short version. But the long version, that's the one that still plays in my head every time I hear the words, family is everything. It was mid-December. One of those nights when the wind feels like it's cutting right through your clothes. I had just finished a brutal double shift at the diner. 8 hours on my feet, rushing orders, smiling at strangers while my back ached so badly I could barely stand. My shoes were soaked from stepping in a puddle on the way home. When I walked into the house I'd grown up in, something felt off. No smell of dinner cooking. No clinking of dishes. Just silence, except for the low hum of the TV in the living room. My parents were sitting side by side on the couch. No one smiled. No one said, "Welcome home." Near the front door was my old worn backpack, zipped up tight, and next to it, a black plastic trash bag. "What's going on?" I asked, still standing in the doorway. My mom's eyes didn't soften. Her voice was steady, like she'd been rehearsing it. "You're 19. You're old enough to take care of yourself now. We think it's time you move out." For a second, I honestly thought she was joking. I even gave a small laugh and looked at my dad, waiting for him to jump in and say this was a bad prank. But he didn't even turn his head. His eyes stayed glued to the TV. When she pushed the trash bag toward me, I heard the muffled sound of my own clothes shifting inside. My throat went dry. "Move out? Tonight?" She just said. "You'll figure it out." That night, I stepped outside into the freezing air with no plan, no apartment, and $83.42 in my bank account. My phone was at 12% battery. I stuffed my backpack with what little I could carry and dragged that trash bag down the street like it was full of bricks. The first week, I stayed on a friend's couch. The second week, another friend's spare bed. By the third week, I'd run out of favors. I found an attic room in a stranger's house for $100 a month. The ceiling was so low I had to bend my head to stand up. The window was cracked, and the wind whistled through it at night. The cold in that room wasn't just the kind that makes your fingers numb, it was the kind that settles into your bones. I'd sleep in my jacket, under 3 blankets, still shivering. I worked mornings at a grocery store stocking shelves, afternoons as a cashier, and nights at the diner running food. Sometimes I wouldn't eat for an entire day just to make rent and pay for bus fare. Every so often, I'd call home. I didn't ask for money. I just wanted to hear a familiar voice. But the calls always ended the same. "We're busy. Don't ask for money. You need to figure it out yourself." And I figured it out. Alone. One night, after my shift, I sat cross-legged on the floor of that attic room, eating instant noodles straight from the pot. My hands were still red from carrying trays all day. That's when it hit me, an idea. Something small. A product that could fix a problem I kept running into at work. I sketched it out on the back of a crumpled receipt. I had no real tools, so I borrowed what I could. I saved for weeks to build a rough prototype. It was ugly, clumsy, but it worked. I listed it online. At first, nothing happened. Weeks went by. Then one day, my first sale. I remember staring at the confirmation email until my screen dimmed. It wasn't much, but it felt like proof that maybe, just maybe, I could build something. One sale turned into 2. 2 turned into 10. I stayed up until 3 a.m. most nights, improving the design, answering customer messages, learning everything I could about business and marketing from free videos online. By the end of the first year, I had more orders than I could handle. By year 3, I had a company, real employees, real revenue, real freedom. The day I bought my house, I took the longest walkthrough anyone has ever taken. Marble floors that clicked under my shoes. Windows so big the light spilled in like it was pouring from a bucket. A backyard with a glowing pool. A master bedroom with a walk-in closet that was bigger than the attic I used to rent. I stood in the middle of that kitchen, staring at the chandelier, and whispered to myself, "This is mine." Then, one afternoon, my phone rang. The caller ID made my stomach twist. My mom's voice was softer than I remembered. "We miss you." Then my dad's voice joined in. "We're proud of you. You've done so well for yourself." I knew there was more coming, and there was. "Things have been a little hard lately. Maybe we could stay with you for a while. Just until we get back on our feet." I froze. The same people who told me to leave at 19, who let me shiver through nights with no heat, who told me, "Figure it out yourself," when I was barely surviving, now wanted to live in my house. I looked around at my marble counters, the sunlight spilling in through the tall windows, the pool in the backyard. I thought about every cold night, every skipped meal, every long shift where I came home to an empty attic room. And now here I was, holding the keys. Do I let them in? Or leave them outside, the way they once left me? If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to like and subscribe and check part 2 in the description down below.